Okay. Looks like I'm alive. Just take a second here to let people jump on if they're coming on. I got notes today. Okay, today's going to be about something that's called small buy-ins, and this is really it's the one topic that gets sold over and over and over again. And I'm going to start with an example, and I'm going to ask you three questions to see if this is really a fit for. Thanks for the like. I couldn't see who put it up there, but I give you an example. There was when I lived in Connecticut, there was a small grocery store, groceryette type of establishment that was struggling, and they figured out that if they sold cheese, okay, American cheese, for less than the grocery store that was just built across the street, they could get some of their business back. So, grocery store was there for years. They put this major grocery chain across the street from them. Obviously, took a lot of their business. There was no reason for people to make that quick stop for for milk and bread and things like that. So somehow they needed to. Hey Cheryl, they needed to get that business back. So what they did was they put cheese on as what's normally called as a loss leader. So they were probably selling it for slightly above cost or at cost, and they had a lot of people coming into the store. Okay, so it was a small buy-in. Now, of course, while you're at the store, you're already there. You're saving money on your cheese. You're gonna pick up your milk. You're gonna pick up a couple of other impulse items while you're there, and the store was thriving. They won back a lot of business. Or while you're picking up your cheese, you might get some lunch meat or whatever. So they had found a way around that big, massive grocery store that was across the street for a while. And then, of course, the grocery store figured out what was going on, and word is they put some pressure on the cheese distributor to not necessarily give them the best price, and so they ended up having to raise the price on their cheese. And this is the stuff that goes on. They had to raise the price; couldn't offer that price any longer, and slowly, great colors on. Oh, thank you. And so they lost their edge, which was these inexpensive cheese, this inexpensive loss leader, get people in the door. And so eventually they went out of business. And I think last time I went by, they were some type of a sandwich shop or whatever. I mean, the store was completely gone. So, but the real thing here is getting somebody to take a serious look at you based on a small buy-in could be a huge win for your business. And really, this is how, if you look at, you say, like, how are people getting those big, huge, like that big sale? Like, how do you get somebody to buy the 1,000-point package from you? Well, generally, they're not starting with the 1,000-point package. And if you look at most of the third-party systems that are out there, they're based on this small buy-in. Okay, and so I'm going to ask you like three questions and see if this is a fit for you. This might not be a fit for you, but if you fall into any of these three categories or can answer yes to any of these three questions, chances are you need to take a serious look at how to change your business. What did a friend say to me? You got to get away. You have to have a way to get them to take a look at your store, and so this is really how we're going to get them to open the store and take a serious look at you. Try a product. What is one thing that you pay for monthly that you would like to make money on? Okay, one thing that you pay for monthly you'd like to make money on. Are you paying for something right now? This is the second one. Are you paying for something that others get for free, or or you were supposed to be paid for. Okay, are you paying for something that others get for free, or you were supposed to be paid for? Okay, there was a promise that you were going to get paid for it. And the third question is, are you locked into a service you're afraid to cancel, okay, but it's not benefiting you? Okay, if you answered yes to any of these, are you locked into a service that you're afraid to cancel, but it's not benefiting you? Hey, Celeste. So if you answer yes to any of these three questions, this really is for you. And this is how all the this is why they don't want, I don't know if I put it on the original thing, but like this is really something that they don't want you to know. All the third-party services are out there are going to use the concepts that I'm going to teach you right now, I'm going to share with you right now, to get you into the process and to kind of lock you in and to get you moving forward. And it all starts with a small buy-in. So if you look, and this is how you probably got on Facebook, okay? They offer you something really inexpensive, and most likely it starts out for free, okay? So it starts out for free, and you get a lot. They're giving you information, something like that. Then the next step, after you've got that free thing, okay, is to then have a small, very small buy-in. Okay, what's the benefit of a small buy-in? I'm working with a company that this is working really well with right now. Hey, Nicole. The small buy-in. Okay, so you got something for free. You said, "Wow, this is pretty good." Small buy-in. Okay, the small buy-in basically actually doesn't lock you in when you buy it. It locks in the person who made the sale. Okay, this is a really good way to really market your business, to really explode your business. So I've got some people on here at some different companies, and so this is a way to get people to either join your company or to make the bigger product purchases. So it depends on, like, if you're in network marketing, this is going to be to get people to join the business to make money. And if you're not in network marketing, if you're doing some type of other sales, this is a way to get people to come in with something small and then make bigger purchases. Okay, what does this do? And how do they do this? Okay, a good example is a lot of times people will attract somebody with a book or a CD or an audio or something like that. Okay, it's free. Then they will, once you've basically shown your interest in giving them some information through a webinar or whatever it is, a lot of network marketing companies, this is the reason why they're failing, is because they go right from, I got somebody's information, to the 1,000-point package. Doesn't work. Okay, it worked 20 years ago because you can then start working with that person and building a trust relationship. They had no other place to go, so they were either interested in joining you or they weren't. You could start doing follow-up and things like that, but it doesn't work today because there's 60,000 other companies that have similar products and similar. They all say the same thing. Everybody has. I always say this. They have the best products. They have the best compensation plan. They have the best leaders. Everything's the best. Okay. And so, of course, the people who are selling you training and selling you third-party products, they tell you, "We'll take that out of the equation." Well, yeah, you can do that. You can take that, but at some point, you got to bring it back into the equation, and that's when you run into issues because you've never really, you've built a little bit of trust with them, but you've never really were upfront about like the whole purpose of contacting this person in the first place. So we call that in the industry, we call it a bait and switch. So generally, what happens is what we see is either the person stays with that third-party product, which is okay for them, and then generally what happens is they end up dropping out of the other company, which is really the reason why they were doing this all in the first place, was to go really to make the bigger money, not the little onesie-twosie sales. Okay, so start with free, then they go to something like a book or a CD. Now, what are they? What's you got a $30, $20, $30 item. Generally, that next step is well under $100. So it's 29.95, 39.95, 49.95. What does that do? Well, you gave them something. Now you gave them a small buy-in, so they can kind of, I call it dipping your toe in the water, just to kind of try to see, okay, what's this all about? So they can do it inexpensively. They used to do this with a book. It was like, I think, 29.95, or 14. Even some of them were 14.95. You'll see some deals out there that it's $5. Okay. Very if it's 9.95 or less, you can have almost zero resistance. Okay. Look, it's only $10. It's 9.95. I mean, how could you go wrong for 9.95? So it's again very small buy-in, to get the person to make that next jump. Okay. Now, what's happened? Okay, you deliver the thing. Two things happen. The person you just delivered that to, okay, as long as it is what you said it is, you've built some trust with the person. So you've said what you're going to do. You did what you said you were going to do. They got it. It was like, okay, this is, even if it's not the most wonderful thing in the world, they got it. You did it, and so now you can follow up with them and say, hey, how was my service? Did you like it? Did you use it? Generally, they don't do that. They don't. All they ask them is, hey, you bought the book, and how's it working for you? Okay, so like in this industry, they're going to say, how's it working for you? They're not going to say, did you like the book, or how's it? Well, you know what? I'm still not, as successful as I would like to be. Okay, if you want to be successful, you got to jump. You got to make the next jump. Okay, so that's how they use these little buy-ins. And so you're wondering, like, how does somebody start? How does somebody get somebody to spend $14,000 on a system? And it's like, well, they did these little buy-ins. So they were consistently building this over time. Of course, when you're coming in, they're telling you that, whoa, I've got, 20 people just jumped at, $12,000 or $10,000, but they didn't just jump. This was built up over years and years and years. And of course, when somebody's starting from scratch, and it's built up over years and years and years, it's apples and oranges. So you got to be careful not to get caught in that, in the big ticket sale when you're just getting started out. So, but small buy-ins is a big one, to get people, to try something, and then you build some trust, and then they go up to the next thing. So the first purchase might be $14.95 or $19.95. Even if it's $19.95 a month, you could cancel anytime. Again, it's just a small purchase. Then they get them. So that's why you'll see a lot of times they'll do training for $19.95, $24.95, $29.95 a month. Cancel anytime, no big deal. What's that all about? Well, again, it's to get you comfortable with the fact that this person is going to deliver what they say they're doing. Okay. Then you go up to the next. It's easier to get them to go up to the next level, which might be $297. Okay, or and then to the next level. Okay, which is $997. As long as you're I'm saying, you're delivering what you say you're delivering, that person's going to stick with you. Now, what's on the other side of the equation? That's why I said generally these things lock the person in. That once they've made that first sale, it locks the person in to now you're going to get them to make the next jump. Okay, and so how does that work? Why would they do that? Well, generally in home business industry, people don't make any money. No one ever makes any money. Okay, you've got this top echelon that's making money. You've got literally thousands and thousands of people that aren't making anything. That's why I said, if you're paying for stuff, if you're paying for something that you were supposed to get paid for, there's like people get locked into things. Auto ships. You pay $100 a month for an auto ship. That's something you were supposed to be getting paid on. Okay, you never make any money. A lot of people, they never make any money. Eventually, they drop out. Or like I said here, you get locked into a service. Now I know people that that get locked into a service where they're collecting information. So let's say like an email list or a cell phone number list. They get locked into these services. Now they've got this big list in there. They're not making any money. They're not, it's like, but they're afraid to like jump out of that service because what? They're going to lose this list. I had, and it's really it's a false fear because there's nothing stopping them from downloading that list, from taking that list out of that service and just keeping it until they really think that they can move forward. But it's just like, well, it's only $9.95 a month or $19.95 a month, and so I'll just keep the list there, and I'll just keep paying for it until I can't pay for it anymore, and then of course then they're going to cancel. But again, people get locked into these things, and that's how they get locked in. So if you take somebody now that has never made any money in their home business, okay, and you say to them, look, I sell this book, it's $14.95, you get to keep $7 of that or $8 of that, and they make the sale. Some of them they even give them 100%. Okay, they don't care. It's a loss leader for the third party. They're not looking to sell the book. They're looking to get you in to do the $9.97 course. Okay, so all of a sudden they jump in, they get paid, let's say $7, or let's say it's a $14.95 ebook. They get paid $14.95. They're like, you know what? I've never made any money in my business. I just made $14.95 selling this book. Okay, I'm making money. Like all of a sudden they're excited, even though it's only $15. They're excited because they just actually accomplished the original goal that they started out to do, which was to make money in their home business, and they get sidetracked from their original business. Okay, they don't really understand like how it worked, or how they just got hooked. They just gave them the hook in the mouth. Okay, and to sell them the next big thing. I don't judge people for like but if you understand how it works, you can apply it to your business. Okay, so if you understand how people like fall for these things, then you can use those same marketing concepts on your own business. So you start out with something for free. Just what we call it's a loss leader. Facebook free, Google free. Okay, those services are not really free. Okay, but they give to you for free. So they get you to come in, sample it, get some information. Okay, then they bring you to the next step. Okay, so while you're there, okay, they're exposing you to something else. Okay, and that something else generally is a small fee service. Okay, you see me doing it with my energy work. Okay, come in for free. Okay, try it. Okay, if you have a good experience, what's going to happen? They're going to come back. Next time there's going to be a fee associated. I use it myself. Okay, as long as you're giving them value, you're not like ripping them off. But at the same time, I'm not trying to hook. I'm not doing a bait and switch. So there's ways to do this that it's not a bait and switch, and there's ways to do it that's nefarious. Okay, a lot of the services out there, it's a bait and switch. Okay, they're trying to get you into their thing and get you out of your thing. Okay, under the guise of this is going to be a way to generate leads. It's not a way to generate leads for your business. It's a way to generate leads for their business. It's a way for you to make them money in their business. Okay, and it's easy. Like I said, once you're accomplishing a goal that you really set out the goal to do, people will get hooked in, not understanding the big picture of how they're actually getting, those big ticket sales. It's just easy to catch people, and once you're, even though they're accomplishing the small goal, they're not getting the big goal. You're going to drop out. I'll give you the other half of the picture with these services, these third-party services. You drop out, what happens to your list? It goes up to the next person. Okay, because you just connected them in. This is my big issue with building business on Facebook. Okay, like you're giving your list to all your competition. It's the same thing with these third-party online services. You ultimately, once you've locked somebody into into that service. As soon as you drop out, the next product that comes out, they're marketing to your list. You've given your customer list. You've given your friends. You've given everybody to this other person. And you're wondering, how are they so successful in building their business? Well, you're actually building their business. You made $7 on a book, and now they're making thousands of dollars on training. Just got to take a step back and see what they're doing. And you're like, well, how come they're so successful and I'm not? Well, because you dropped out, or you didn't realize that they never tell you like how hard it really is to get to where they got, or what they really did to get to where they got. Unless you pay them the big bucks. Okay, and most people aren't going to pay $5,000 for a weekend retreat, and they know that. So it's like, okay, so you're going to come in, you're going to try it. Same thing with all of these companies. Okay, you're going to come in, you're going to try it, you drop off. I've got 11,000 people on the list. Okay, that most of the leaders, most of those people who brought them in are gone. They're not doing it anymore. But these people are still on auto ships and things like that. You're like, well, how's that person at the top making all the money? Okay, like where did they get all these people from? Well, you brought them in. Okay, you bring them in. They didn't bring them in. You brought them in. Right? How does Facebook get all like 1 billion people? Facebook never really advertised, or did. You brought them in. You gave your people to Facebook. Okay, so when you understand how this works, instead of giving that stuff away, keep it for yourself. Learn, figure out how they did it. Do it for yourself. So let's go through those steps again. Okay, give something away for free. Right? Doesn't have to be, but it has to be with intention that there's going to be another step. So you can't just give something away for free without there being, a next step, something for them to take the next step. Could be the same service, or it could be something different. Like I said, in the case of like give away the book, okay, it's got value, but the book is just the entry, that little small buy-in to get them to give them value, that they're going to see the value in moving forward. I've got people here in different businesses. It might be a small. Hey Tim, hey Tina. Might be like Nicole's in Pampered Chef. Okay, it could be just a little potato scraper or something. It's something small to our prize. Or if you book a party, there's a special the home. This is where you learn this if you ever do a home party business, which I did. There's some benefit for booking a party and giving up those names and all that stuff. The vacuum cleaner sales, first thing, my oldest son was selling vacuums for a while, the Kirby vacuums. What do? Give up the list of 5 or 10 or whatever people, and your name goes into a drawing for a vacation. I don't know if it ever went into the thing or not, for the vacation, but that's that's how they get people to give up that list. You're going to get a vacation. So all businesses, smart businesses that are growing, they all do it. It's a way to get people in. It's something small, that you give them, in exchange for, making that connection. And the next step is, is something a little bit bigger. Something where the person is actually, paying for, that service, or they're, paying for your product, or whatever it happens to be. I generally don't like to give away the product itself. Because if you give it away for free, it devalues it. And like you'll see, like Facebook gives you your page for free, but actually they sell advertising. So it's always something else. If you generally, it's not good. That's why like people say, well, I'm going to give away samples. It devalues and you talk to anybody that gives out samples, and they're like, yeah, it really wasn't very successful. People either they don't use it, they don't see the value of it, they don't call me back. So I don't like to give away. Unless it's somebody that's close to me and say, here, this is going to help you, because they were complaining about, like, let's say, being tired or whatever, to give them a sample. That's one thing, but samples of the product generally are not at that successful. Okay, at like just handing out samples to people to get them to make that decision, that buying decision. Now, if they came in, like I know Tina's here, and like they have the craft brewery. That's a different situation. Like they've already made a buying decision. They're already in your establishment, so you have to kind of separate things out. So like they'll do the little sample things, and they're just deciding what their purchase is going to be. That's a little bit different than just blindly saying, are you tired here? Are you tired here? Are you tired here? To strangers, they haven't made a buying decision. So these are ways to get people to make those buying decisions. That's why you say, how do you get people to like spend $5,000 on a water system? Like I need people who are hugely successful selling water systems. $5,000, $10,000. What would they do? Well, they're giving something away for free. They would actually put the system in the person's house. Here, try this. Okay, and they would leave it in there for a few days, and they would. Now it's already there. All right, it's already connected and all that stuff, and it's like, hey, for X number of dollars per month, you can keep this thing. It's already in the house. Okay, again, gave them something for free. That's how they got them to make the buying decision. Hey, how's it working for you? Water tastes great. You can keep it for, let's say, $30 a month for 4 years or whatever, however it works out. That's how they do it. So there's little tricks to doing this, but ultimately it starts out with something small, very small. It's either free or inexpensive. Okay, to get them to build some trust. That what you're offering them is real, and it's even more important than ever today. The people who start out with the come into my business, it doesn't work, and they know it doesn't work. Okay, because why? Too many options, too many opportunities, too many people offering the same thing. Okay, so when you were the only game in town, if that's what they wanted to do, they didn't have much of a choice. But you're not the only game in town anymore. I mean, the internet, we're so interconnected. That's why I laugh at some of the stuff that the politicians are doing today. It just doesn't work anymore. Some stuff will, but over the long term it won't, because people are figuring out like what the game is. When you figure out what the game is, you can either apply the game, apply it yourself to what you're doing, which takes, in other words, like it spreads the wealth. That's the reason why that's the biggest reason why today those opportunities that were there before, and why people, even the people who were hugely successful, are running. It's really that pulling back is people are really scared. Believe it or not, the people who are very wealthy are really scared because they've lost the power, and there's a knee-jerk reaction to try to get that power back. Because really, you and I have the power. I mean, you think 20 years ago, I couldn't have this broadcast. Somebody in some big corporation would have been, oh, you're not worthy. Okay, they would decide, you're worthy, you're not worthy. Somebody would pick you. Nobody picked me today. I said, you know what? I'm seeing a bunch of posts out there, trying to get people into these other third-party things. I know it's going to suck them out of the thing that they're really in. That's really going to pay them the big, the big dollars. No one's teaching them how to do it the right way. So let me just throw these posts out there. Let me put my 20, 30 years of experience out there so people understand like how these things work. And the only way you would find this stuff out, like the small buy-in stuff, is if you paid somebody that was making that big money, $10,000, $12,000 a sale, and you paid them a bunch of money to get that information from them. And generally, they want to do like some monthly thing where you're paying $2,000 a month or whatever. They'll teach you how to do it the right way. For the general person that shows up, they're not going to teach you this stuff. They're gonna show you, oh, it was just so easy, and this is what you'll hear. I sent out an email and I got 10 sales. Okay. Well, for the average person, it's like, wow, that's all I have to do is send out emails and I'm going to get paid. somebody's going to join me for $1,000 a pop. Sounds easy, and that's how you get the unsuspecting person. And only few people like me are going to be like, it didn't work. What's the next step? Oh, pay me as a consultant, and I'll walk you through. And it's going to take you. They never tell you up front. It's like they'll ask you when you're like, if you're going to pay me a couple grand a month for the next year, I'll show you how to do it. It's not going to be a 2-week deal like everybody else that jumped, because they heard something exciting. What they call it the shiny object. They don't tell you that that's not going to work. They're hoping, because those are the easy sales, and of course the person buys the $1,000 package, and what happens? They wander off. Like, oh, this didn't work. I got a box of stuff in my closet, and I can't figure out how to get this to work. And you go back, and I see the posts all the time online. Oh, this isn't working for me. And the person who signed them in says, "Oh, it's working for me." Okay, it's working for me, and you can't dispute it because it is working for them. Okay, but they're not telling you like how they got there. Okay, they're giving you the easy, quick, fast answer. Well, it's working for me. I don't, should be working for you too. It'll work for you. You got to stick it out, and they're hoping that you'll keep coming back and saying, you got to teach me the next thing. You got to teach me the next thing. Why? Because every time they teach you the next thing, money's coming in. Okay, it's fine. And that's how they got to where they are, and if you're willing to, to spend the money to do that, it's totally up to you to do that. But most of the stuff that I've never seen anything that was literally you send out 10 emails and one person's going to sign up for $1,000. It just doesn't happen. Okay, unless it's where you started out, in the beginning. That's why you see a lot of the big leaders jump from company to company to company. Why? Because when they jump to the next company, the loyal people from the last company are going to follow them. They know it, and the company knows it too. Okay, so that's what happened. They know they're going to bring them in. Okay, probably give them some kind of a deal, and then the loyal people from the last company are going to contact them. So they're going to follow them over, and what's going to happen? They're going to sell a whole bunch of product. 2 years, 3 years later, the company's out of business. 6 months later, generally they're gone. Where are they? They're at the next company. They're like, weren't you just at X company? Yeah. Okay, they're in the next deal. Well, what happened over there? Well, I get these calls all the time. Weren't you just like a few months ago and now last year? Yeah, but product was good, but now I'm over here. Okay. Now you want me to go over there? I mean, I've worked with literally in the last year. Like I've had, talk to people, and I love these people. I love, they're friends and stuff. They've been in 3 deals. Well, every time. Well, the product was good over there, but this one, it's better over here now. Making more money. They figured it out. It's always, something better. They figured it out better. Okay, I'm just not that. I like to do my research, and when I jump, I jump. And I was like, I'm not gonna shiny object. Squirrel. It works for them. It works for these people. But again, if you're just getting started, and you think it's shiny objects are going to pay you, they don't. So just to recap, start with something free or really, really inexpensive that looks like it's got some really good value to it. Once the person makes a sale, you've pretty much locked them in. Because again, 99% of the people that go into their own business, they have no idea, they have no clue. They've never made any money. They've joined company after company. Most people join 1, 2, or 3 companies. Never made any money, anything. Okay, never made. The only sales are them buying their auto ship every month and their whatever the original sign-in is. No one's teaching them how to talk to cold market. Okay, what they call cold market, how to talk to strangers. No one teaches them how to talk to strangers. They're afraid to talk to their friends and family. So you're in a catch-22. That's why when people ask me, like, why are you doing these mobile, business solutions? Well, that's how you connect with strangers. Like, all I have to do is say, all you gotta do is download this mobile app. I don't even have the mobile store handles all that stuff for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, download this app and put my referral code in there. That's all you have to do. and use the app. Oh, okay. Like that's the easiest way to talk to a stranger. How do you think Facebook got on everybody's phone? How do you think Instagram got on everybody's phone? How did like download the app? They downloaded an app and they put their credentials in there, and now they were connected to what? Facebook. They're connected to Instagram. They're connected to Snapchat. They're connected to people in that community. Right? So that's how those things work, and that's so make it easy. Make it easy to talk to strangers. Again, 99% of the people that are in their own business, they don't know how to talk to strangers. They're either afraid to, or they just not necessarily. Everybody says, "Oh, it's fear." No, it's not fear. They just don't know how to do it effectively. It's not fear. I don't know anybody that's. I mean, I used to pay, my, when they were 13, 14, 15 years old, to stand out in the corner and hand out flyers. Okay, because that's what we were told to hand out flyers and put notices on bulletin boards and, here, Mark, go hand out these flyers. And he'd stand out there and then he'd hand out the flyers. Like, nobody's afraid to do that. Was it effective? No. But that's what we were told. If you want to build your business, go out and hand out. And I'm copying flyers, and they're handing out flyers, and they're doing all this other. It wasn't fearful. It just didn't work. Okay, because there was really no connection. The person was getting this paper going, what is this? Nothing that they were ready for. It's like handing out business cards. You hand out 2,000 business cards and get no response at all. 85%, 90% of business cards end up in the trash because the person's just why? The person's not ready to make a buy. They're not ready for you. So within 4 or 5 days, it's either in a pile or it's in the trash because the person had no need. There's no need for it. Okay, so the app allows us to make the need. So again, this is a way. I'm going to share ways over time of building your business and small buy-ins, free to a small buy-in. That's you're building trust, and then you can build them up to the next levels. So have a great day.